Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the day is finally here. I am Mike Vorhies.
Matt Magaw.
Matt Magaw to my right, and it is the 330 to go high school football show, season 2, episode 1. We're
let
here.
Us back.
They did.
They let us back.
They renewed our contracts.
Yes.
We're back again.
Popular demand.
And high school football actually kicked off last night. Most of the games are tonight. Mother Nature did wreak a little bit of havoc on those games last night.
It was a monsoon.
It was insane how much it rained. And, it came. I was sitting at home watching TV, and I'm like, oh, it's raining outside.
I sat through it.
Oh.
Because, freshmen played last night.
Okay, yeah.
So I got the opportunity to sit in the monsoon, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
It was it's football.
I'm really sorry to hear that.
Isn't that what it's all about?
It is. It's the summertime pop-up showers that you can't predict, and they last.
Tomorrow. It'll be snowing tomorrow for sure.
Shut up! Don't say that.
Oh, hey man,
that's a 4-letter word.
My name's not
it's
Mother
a 4-letter
Nature.
word.
Don't. Yell at me.
Well, we are back, like we said, and it's season 1 or season 2.
Yeah.
High school football starts tonight. Our game of the week. We talked about it all week.
Yes.
The Alliance Aviators travel down to Uniontown Lake to take on the Blue Streaks. We'll talk about that game in its entirety in a little bit.
Yeah.
There's some other games going on. Lots of media attention on Northeast Ohio with some massive football games. And we could have done like everybody else. We could have talked about it and made it our headline, our main source of what we talked about. But
I don't think we're like everybody else.
No, we're not.
We're against the grain.
We march to the beat of our own drum.
Exactly.
So obviously you've got Valdosta, Georgia traveling to Massillon to take on the Tigers. I mean, that game in itself is going to be iconic. You've got the number 1 ranked all-time win team in Valdosta, Georgia, going down to Massillon.
Exactly.
And taking on the Tigers, who are ranked 4th all-time with 932 wins. I mean, Valdosta is the self-proclaimed title town. They have 6 national titles, 24 state titles. They went 8-3 last year, and they lost in the first round of the playoffs. Massillon, I mean, obviously, they own 24 state poll titles. They're coming off a 12-2 season and a trip to the D2 state title or state semifinals. I mean,
they got some new transfers in too.
They've got Massillon's got a team. They always do. They always just seem to rebuild and
the day one Owens kid went down from Copley to Massillon.
He did.
So it'll be there with Slaughter. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how that works out, right?
If we know anything, which we don't tend to say we know anything, but if I were to guess, I think that Nate Moore at Massillon will have these guys ready to go, and it's going to be great.
Okay.
I'm excited. But that's not, I mean, there's St. Ed's, there's Hoban, there's Glenville also playing out of state teams.
Kentucky was what they're playing. Hoban's playing the team out of Kentucky.
I think so.
And St. Ed's is Indiana.
I believe so.
All right. So here's a crazy. What's the Ohio record this weekend?
Oh man, you're gonna put me on the spot this early, right off the rip.
I thought about it all week. Actually, I can't take two. I had a parent, a friend of mine, asked me that question this week.
Right.
And I was like, I had to think about it.
You know, if I had to guess, I would love the sweep. I would love for Ohio to shut everybody down and say, hey, we're good at what we do, and
let's be realistic.
Put up and shut up here. But I'll go 3-1. I'll go 3-1. That Ohio wins 3 games and loses 1.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you who's going to lose?
I do actually now.
I knew you would do that to me. I hate to say it, and I hope I'm wrong. I mean, do you go against the number 1 winningest team?
No.
Valdosta, Georgia? I mean,
no.
Can you?
Quick no.
I know I'm going to have some haters. I mean, I'm not hating on Massillon at all. I think Massillon's got a phenomenal team.
It's just our opinion.
Dude, I don't think Hoban loses. I don't think Glenville loses. Wow. St. Ed's might, but I don't think so.
I'm going to go completely. I'm going to flip. I'm going to go 1.
Oh, my gosh. You said we win 1 game?
1 and 1.
Dude, what game do we win?
Ed's.
You think St. Ed's wins and so Hoban loses?
Could.
Glenville?
Yeah.
State champ. You're saying, whoa.
And the quarterback that's at Glenville, the quarterback that's at Glenville this year is a transfer from Walsh. He was a quarterback. Went out there, he was playing for the playing for them now. So there's a lot of moving.
Listen, I mean, I congratulate these Ohio teams for picking. They're not doing the college cupcake games where you pick like William and Mary and the Citadel and Our Lady of the Blind and all these other schools where you take on teams like Alabama and Georgia and they get rolled.
Yeah. Like you mean when Ohio State plays against the MAC?
Like Akron, yes. Yeah. I mean, I don't like it. It despises me. It's
no, I mean,
I like that they want competition, and the only way you're going to find out what you've got is to go against teams that are better than you.
But the format with high school football is a lot different.
I think so.
You can't afford 2 losses and think that you're even going to remotely sniff the top 10.
Well, Massillon had 2 last year, and they did well.
I mean, we've seen the expansion of how the playoffs go. So,
right.
I mean, you can get in almost 5-5. I think there were teams that were 4-6 last year. So if you're playing against quality opponents, I think that's only going to prepare you for when you get to what matters, and that's when you get into late October.
I'll tell you what, I'm excited to see what those games entail. I'll be watching. Obviously, absolutely. I'll be broadcasting tonight from Mollenkoff Stadium in Warren. I have the Warren Harding Canton McKinley game with Q92. I'll be out there with my broadcast partner, Ryan Keller. We'll be covering that game. I'm excited about that one, too. But I'll be watching my phone.
Is Canton McKinley the favorite in the Federal?
Canton McKinley went, what'd they do? They went 6-6 last year or 5-5. I don't know. They started off
struggled
rough
out the gates.
and then they ran the Federal League. They tied with Lake. Mm-hmm. I think McKinley has a bunch of weapons. Dante McClellan, Keaton Rohde,
the running back,
Nino Hill. I mean, they've got weapons. It'll be interesting to see how the defense rebounds. They've lost all but one of their secondary starters. Alex Vasquez is the only returning starter. So it'll be interesting to see how Coach Hall has that team ready to go.
What's Coach Hall?
This is 3rd season.
All right. So yeah. Wow.
So it'll be interesting. I'm excited. But again,
fun to call that.
I will follow me on social media. You'll see me posting the games.
Look at that plug.
I got to. Yeah. You want to see what scores are? I mean, I'll
that one in there.
I'll follow it. But back to what we want to talk about today. I mean, obviously, those games down at. I mean, obviously, Valdosta Massillon takes place in Massillon. The other 3 games are actually taking place on Saturday at Tom Benson Memorial Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton.
How does that work out that all of them get moved there except for one?
Well, I think Massillon wanted a home game.
Shocker.
So Massillon gets the home game. I think with McKinley being on the road, that opened up Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, and so you brought those three games in.
Why
could you have done 4 on one day in one day? I mean, that's a lot. 4 games. I mean, if you started at like 11 a.m. maybe, but
10, 12,
10,
1,
2,
1, 4, 7,
something like that. But I'll tell you what,
I think we just did it. So
well, there you go. Hall of Fame. Pay attention. We got it for you.
We can sign up for that.
We'll see. I'm excited, though. Those games are going to be great, but let's move on. We've got other things to talk about. We've got our game of the week, the Alliance Aviators, the Lake Blue Streaks. These 2 played each other last year.
They did.
And Lake beat them.
What was the final of that?
I believe it was 41-13, I think. Okay. Don't quote me on that.
And then Lake's season ended last year with Massillon.
With Massillon. I mean, but Lake had such a phenomenal season. I don't know if you guys caught it this week. I had a chance to talk with both coaches, Tim Goodman from Alliance, Dan DeGeorge from Lake. Both outstanding.
It was great interviews,
man. I'll tell you what, I just asked the questions, they answered.
Coach Goodman looked like he was cheating off you. At one point, you actually said that.
I think I didn't tell them at all what the questions were.
Yeah,
I had questions on paper that I wanted to ask them, and yeah, Coach Goodman, I swore he had my notes. I don't know how, but
he's excited for this year, man. He's got
Coach Goodman. I mean, I'll tell you what, probably one of the nicest guys I've met. I've met him in person now, and then obviously we did the Zoom interview with him just because of scheduling, and I couldn't get out to Alliance. It's not close.
No, but interview's an interview. We got the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Alliance last year they go 8-3.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously West Branch ran that division, and listen, Alliance gave West Branch all they could handle.
That was a real close game.
I mean, Coach Goodman even said they were 30 seconds from If they had 30 more seconds, they may have beaten West Branch.
He said that, and they got a ton of returning.
They do. Alliance has a bunch of weapons. I mean, they went 4-1 in the EBC. Unfortunately, they did lose in the first round to Youngstown Cheney in the playoffs. They're returning 15 lettermen from last year. Their defense, though, has to replace 4 starters in the secondary.
What a good problem to have.
4? I think so. Yeah, all 4. Yeah, guys, guess what? Next men up. That's right. Isn't that what that is?
It's a lot better than 11.
The offense is going to score points. They've got plenty of playmakers. I mean, you've got an Oklahoma Sooner commit in quarterback.
I didn't know that.
Well, that's his 3rd team that he's committed to. So he originally started at Syracuse, and then he withdrew.
All right.
And then he went to Northwestern, and then unfortunately Northwestern has all the turmoil going on. So he was like, "Well, hey, I'm gonna pull back out of this one." And then Oklahoma's like, "Hey, why don't you come be a Boomer Sooner?" And I mean, Brandon Zerbog, I'm telling you right now, guys, he's probably one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Ohio. I mean, he's incredible. The reads, the fact that he can run, he can throw.
Quite often.
Oh, I think so. He's probably one of the top quarterbacks in Northeast Ohio.
Wow.
Flat out. I mean, he's very talented. They've got weapons. I mean, they've got Ramir Hawkins at wide receiver, Caden Davis at tailback. They've got an offensive line and a defensive line that I think if they shore up some things, Alliance is going to make some noise. What a great, to take on Lake right out of the gate and see what you've got.
It's a huge test.
I mean, we know Lake. I mean, Lake 12-2 last year, co-Federal League champs with McKinley. I mean, Dan DeGeorge, that interview with Coach, I went out and talked to him at Hudson when they were scrimmaging. And I always appreciate when a coach takes the time to talk to you.
Absolutely.
Coach DeGeorge, I think I could sit down and talk to him for hours and never get bored.
No, he's pretty real enlightening guy. I actually had the opportunity. Well, he was a few years older than me.
Okay.
Growing up in the Firestone Park area.
So okay.
His younger brother, Ryan, I went to school with. He was 1 year older than me.
Okay.
Obviously followed him all the way through, played at Hoban, went to, played at Malone. And then obviously it was Malone, right?
I think he went to Malone. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't follow everybody, but
yeah, here I am trying to act like I know somebody and I'm totally going to say the wrong stats and, obvious, full of it.
Right.
But, coached at St. B the 1 year before he ended up really taking obviously what he's done at Lake and what he's building over there. He's got some kids, man. I mean, I saw the game last year against Green.
Oh yeah.
At the end, I mean, that was just like a statement going into the playoffs. And then obviously, like you mentioned, it didn't end as they wanted.
No, absolutely not. Still a magical season for them. I got to cover Lake quite a few times last year.
How do they replace the running back?
I think it'll be a running back by committee until somebody gets hot. I mean, they've got options galore. I mean, you've got Charlie Christopher. He's a phenomenal linebacker, big, strong, bull type running back. He'll run people over.
Got a few shifty wide receivers too.
Yeah,
they kind of started throwing the ball a little bit.
Well, you've got Nate Baker, cornerback, wide receiver. I mean, he was a playmaker last year for them. He's back. With the running backs, though, you got Joey Garro, the senior. You got AJ Doan. I mean, there's guys that are there for the carries. I mean, they'll take whatever they get, but I think it's going to be whoever gets the hot hand and whoever follows that mammoth offensive line, finds the hole and go. I mean, Matt Solberger, incredible talent. Unfortunately, he graduates, but again, it's always next man up for high school football.
I think he moved on to Ashland.
I believe he did as well. So looking forward to him. Lake's defense. I mean, my goodness, they're going to return 27 lettermen. So that's a lot. Okay. 27 is quite a bit. Their defense had 32 sacks and 26 takeaways last year, and they only gave up 12.9 points a game. So under 13 points a game. They're getting takeaways. They're getting after the quarterback. Their defense was all over the field last year.
So they're probably going to live up to like their famous quote. Do you know their famous quote?
What is that?
It's plastered everywhere.
What is that?
It's rock 'em.
Rock 'em. Well, rock 'em. Yeah, that's how Coach DeGeorge signed his email. I probably should have had that.
Yeah, see?
I dropped the ball. It's a fumble. Week 1. Got to work on the handles.
Got to represent.
Yes. So Ron Visconti, their defensive coordinator, his 23rd season. Wow. I thought that was I saw that. I mean, the defense is going to be ready to go. Nate Baker, one of the best athletes Coach DeGeorge has ever coached. His words, not mine.
His words,
not mine.
Wow, that's a lot.
He had 1,200 all-purpose yards last year, 44 receptions, 6 touchdowns. He had 4 interceptions, had some fumble recoveries. He returned an interception to the house.
If I'm not mistaken, in that Green game at the end that I was at, I think he broke the record for in-game receiving yards.
He may have.
I mean,
I mean, they had a
could
great.
Be wrong. I don't want to take. If it was somebody else, I apologize, but I want to say that was
Lake's got talent, so we know that Lake will be ready to go. Yeah. That's going to be a phenomenal week 1 game. Obviously, both teams from the 3-3-0 that are heavily looked at.
Yeah.
I mean, Alliance and Lake, what a great way to start our week 1. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's 9 more weeks, guys, and we know where we're going. You don't, but we do.
We do. We actually planned this year.
We did. We sat down, and it was many emails and texts back and forth. We wanted to look. We know that there's so many teams in the 3-3-0. We know. Like we were trying to figure it out. I suck at math. I'll be the first one to admit that. There were teams that I forgot completely about.
Yeah.
Thankfully, our correspondent, Jeff Cauliflower, was all over the website or on the page this week, throwing up stats with Canfield, with South Range, with teams that kind of get overlooked. They are out east, but they're still in the 3-3-0.
So we had 2 state champs on the 3-3-0.
We do. So we just have to. We're going to do our best this year to cover all the teams that we can. We're going to try.
We now have a group page.
We do, and right,
we can get interactions there.
Now I have a question. If you haven't joined the Facebook group page, what are you waiting for?
Go over.
I think I've invited everybody on my friends list. I know you've invited everybody on your friends list.
All 5 of my friends accepted the challenge.
That's awesome.
All 5 of my friends accepted the challenge.
Obviously, join that page. That's where you're going to see all of everything that we're doing. We're going to post.
And we're sharing out there for the player highlight.
We are. We're going to talk about, we have our first player highlight of the year. Eli Lee, junior linebacker from Archbishop Hoban.
Stud.
Dude, I'm telling you what, if you want us to chat about your athlete, your student athlete, let me preface that.
Yes.
Student athlete,
not just what they're doing in between the lines.
You'll see us share the Google Doc on the group page. Mm-hmm. Fill it out. Send it in.
Yes.
Give us the information we're asking for. And next week, we could be talking about your grandson, your child, your neighbor,
we want to hear about what they're
doing.
The
drive-through worker at McDonald's that's working at school and playing football and slinging burgers and fries. I mean, I want to hear about these kids. This is what I want to hear.
I mean, they're putting forth the effort, the work. Let's give them their roses.
Exactly. So let's talk about Eli Lee for a second. So I love this. His best game highlight, 17 tackles versus Erie Cathedral Prep. 17's a lot, guys. In a high school game, that's a lot.
16 more than I ever had in one game.
Yeah, I think I may have had 2 tackles in a game, maybe. I don't know, but
a $145 on the year?
Season stats, 145 tackles, 13 sacks, 32 tackles for loss, folks. Keep your eye out on Eli Lee, okay?
I mean, the secret was out, I think, last year. If you watched Tobin, I mean, he's the anchor on that.
He plays an amazing
got a lot of
defense,
talent on there, but he's definitely locking it down at the linebacker.
But it's more than just football for Eli. He enjoys hunting, fishing. He loves to play the guitar. That's awesome. Could he write a song for us? I wonder.
Ooh,
can we put him on the spot?
We could.
Hey, Eli, if you're watching, I know you're probably in school. But, hopefully somebody shares this with him that we're talking about him. But write us a jingle, man. I'd love that. I think it'd be great. I mean, after his plans for after high school, of course he wants to play football. I mean, he's got a future, I think. Mm-hmm. He wants to get a business degree. His favorite subject in school is English. I like this kid. That was mine in high school, so I'll take it all day. I loved English, of course.
Wouldn't have guessed that with how you talk.
Wow, that's a cheap shot. Dang.
I had to say something.
I know that's all good, but
bland.
I mean, Eli, congratulations, sir. We're looking forward to a fantastic year from not only you but from Hoban.
Yeah, getting it going in tomorrow, like we had mentioned earlier.
And then again, if you want us to discuss your child athlete,
please
fill out the form.
It's that simple.
All you got to do.
We're not picking.
I don't know who filled out Eli's form, but he filled it out. They filled it out for us. We had the information, and of course, we're going to talk about him. I mean, it's not hard.
It's a new thing that we're adding in this year. You know, we don't want to make it seem like these are our choices. You know, where it's the fans out there. This is your 3-3-0.
Yep.
So obviously, share out. Give those kids their roses.
And if you noticed on the group page, again, if you haven't joined, there's still time. I mean, there's plenty of football left. Absolutely. But join the page. We put our pick'em games up from the week.
We did
discuss some Jeff threw some random facts and things in. We posted, I loved your countdown, getting everybody prepped and ready to go.
Anybody notice I missed day 4?
Yes, you did. I was going to let it slide.
Fell off the radar.
That's fine. We all get busy.
I was waiting for it. I mean,
where was the Y2K countdown clock? That's what we should have done.
I don't know.
We need to do that. Maybe we'll do that for next week. But more to come. Obviously, football kicked off last night. I want to discuss those 4 games really fast. If I missed a game, obviously let me know in the comments or come at me because I'm going to make mistakes. I'm human.
You are.
But we had some games last night. Perry over Canton Central Catholic, 42-25. Perry in that wing T offense, man. I'm telling you what, Perry looks good. Looks good. Game 1, I know, but looks good. Canton Central Catholic, not an easy opponent. They usually put up an amazing fight. I mean, obviously, all 4 of these games last night had to deal with lightning delays and weather. And
what was the shocking game?
Sandy Valley over Fairlawn, 29-22. Sandy Valley, shout out to the Cardinals. I mean, Fairlawn, we know they're locked and loaded.
A win's a win. A win is a win.
A win is a win. 29-22 over Fairlawn. I mean, and then the other 2 games are postponed. They will be resumed on Saturday. These games were postponed at halftime. East over Youngstown Cheney 14-7, and Kent Roosevelt over Ravenna 21-14. Again, those games postponed because Mother Nature said you will not finish these games. Lightning is a thing. Can't have y'all playing in lightning, so they'll finish them up on Saturday.
That's what they will.
That's what the newspapers have said. Yeah, I mean, those are some good games. Good games. We'll take it.
Well, football's football. Man.
Football's
nice.
football. What else you got? I mean, we've got new coaches. You want to talk about that real quick?
I saw that. I just thought that was crazy this year that there was 7 new coaches that they talked about.
Yeah, I mean, Ellett has a new head coach, John Dario. North, DeMonte Powell. Copley has John Cromulak. Woodridge, Phil Martyr. Cuyahoga Falls, Kevin Pask. Coventry, Rich Smith. And Manchester, Kevin Stacy.
So best of luck. Best wishes to those guys. They start kind of putting their fingerprint and implementing their game plan into their season.
Yeah, it's always exciting to see new coaches take over and see what they can do. Obviously, we know coaches don't last forever. Some retire, some move on, some don't keep their jobs, some decide they don't want to coach anymore. I mean,
it's like being a referee. It's a tough game.
Gosh,
I mean, it really is. Us parents, we make it so simple and so easy.
Except when you're yelling from the stands and
obscenities and acting like straight up fools.
Yeah.
But Northeastern Ohio, it's football, and obviously, that's why we get passionate about it.
Everybody's passionate about it. I mean you've seen Little League games for baseball and parents lose their minds. T-ball. I mean, it's crazy how people act sometimes.
Yeah, it's crazy when a kid runs, from home plate to third. And
well, it's T-ball. You got to learn. You got to learn a little bit.
It's all fun. Any players in the area that you're liking?
I'm man
on the spot.
Well, I know who yours is, and I don't want to steal your answer.
Appreciate you. It's the same one I had last year. You know that,
dude. I'll tell you what, McKinley.
Of course, you went down to
the Swiss Army knife, Dante McClellan. I mean, this kid is being highly touted from all colleges right now. He is very talented on both sides of the football. Offense, defense, he does it all, and I'm expecting big things from him this year. Okay. I think McKinley's going to rely heavily not only on Nino Hill, Keaton Rohde, but Dante McClellan as well. I see him doing big things on both sides of the ball, and I'm excited that I get to see it tonight firsthand against Warren. He's one of those that I saw last year, and I'm like, that kid's got something.
Yeah,
he's special.
No, there's definitely some talent, a lot of speed.
Lots of speed. Lots of speed.
He's special. I am jumping on the Zaire Stevens. Same as last year, because I think if I remember correctly, we did this in like week 1 talking about players that we were thinking.
Yeah,
he had such a great season last year, and I think before it's all said and done, could end up being player of the year out of Akron.
I got one more.
Uh-oh.
How about Poochie Snyder, Canton South?
I think you just saying his name. He's such an awesome name.
It is. Poochie's not his real name. Poochie's his nickname.
No, I don't.
But
it doesn't matter.
Obviously, last year I was all about West Branch and Drew DeShields, the dual threat quarterback, and how well he did. I see Poochie Snyder on that level.
Wow.
I think that he is extremely talented, not only with his arm, his legs. I think he manages a game extremely well. And Canton South, I mean, I expect we're going to be talking about Canton South and Poochie Snyder all season long.
So yeah, what we had mentioned about the pickups,
we did.
So now fans that follow that page, go there, like it, follow everything, check the above. You can pick every week.
You guys want to compete with us? I got a platter on my wall because I won last year.
I can't stand the word platter. I don't know why it drives me nuts.
It reminds me of
you
like
actually
the
had
Wimbledon.
it in the background. I noticed that. I wanted to get on you.
Thank you.
You put it
was
like
there on
it
was there for a reason.
You're like Schefter, with all your little medallions behind you.
I took pride in my pick'em games last year. Lots of research. I know Jeff was involved last year. All three of us were down the wire.
It was.
I think Jeff fell apart in the playoffs.
Jeff started taking some big chances.
He did. He wanted to. He needed to make He needed to make up some room, and you did as well. And it came down to one game. I beat you by one game.
Dang.
One game, and it was the.
Thanks for bringing that up.
You're welcome. I just have to remind you.
Hurts. So
yes, there is no platter this year.
There is no platter.
At least I've been told.
So we can retire that word.
No, I'll never. It's like moist. Those are two words you never get rid of. You use them in whatever sentences that you can. But platter will be around. It's hanging on my wall. The pick'em platter. I mean, it's
a double P.
Double P. We'll take it.
So the fans are picking. So how we're doing it is you go on, you click.
We gave you options
this week. How we're doing that? Hudson beats Highland.
Well, before you get into that, so I love that you posted that.
Yeah.
And then there were other fans that were adding games to the list.
And that is so my fault because I was supposed to click one button that just kind of locked it.
But I love the fact that fans were like, wait a minute. Hey, don't forget about this game. Don't forget about this. So folks, here's another.
So I apologize.
Here's another plug for the Facebook group page. Tell us what games you want us to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just two guys with microphones.
And I won't delete them.
No. I mean, that we know that there are so many teams and so many great
amateur hour.
It is. We are two
see what happens
gigantic amateurs
to the car. Yeah.
But yeah, let us know if there's games that you want us to talk about. Send it over. Send it in a comment. Tag us, message us. Let us know and we'll add it to the schedule. We'll try to talk about it. We'll do what we can. We've got some correspondence that we may be able to dispatch.
Yes.
To get some pictures, some highlights, maybe an interview or two.
And then I believe tonight, once we kick off at 7,
we do. Kickoff is 7:00.
Putting up a post.
Yeah.
And we want you to start updating live scores.
Yes. Keep us in the loop.
Photos, all the above,
just,
videos.
Yeah. Obviously, music gets tagged very quickly on Facebook. I mean, try your best to ignore the music in the background. We'll obviously say what we always say, and it's not us.
Yeah.
Friday night light updates. I mean, you're going to see that post at 7. Again, wherever you're at in the 330, let us know. If you're at the Valdesta Massillon game, or if you're at McKinley Warren, or if you're Green, wherever you're at tonight, let us know. We want to know.
What's another game beside the one? Well, not any that we are going to talk about.
Okay.
What's one that you're excited about?
Oh man. You're going to put me on the spot again.
Yeah. It's fun. I just ask questions and never have any answers.
Listen, we know like Medina's loaded. We know Highland's loaded. We know that there's several teams that they're going to bring it. They always do. Massillon. I'm interested to see.
One?
I want to see.
Cheater.
Listen.
Take the easy way
No.
there.
Listen. So Massillon regurgitates talent every year.
Yeah.
Dorian Pringle, their running back this year, obviously. Will Hartson gone, graduated. You've got a dynamic quarterback in Jalen Slaughter. You've got an offensive line and a defensive line that's probably one of the best in the country. Coach Nate Moore is going to have these guys ready to go, and you're taking on the number 1 winningest team in the nation in Valdesta, Georgia. That if that's not a statement game,
yeah,
I don't know what is.
All All right. Well,
I mean, I could take the easy ones, and I could say Green. I could say Norton, Coventry, Barberton.
Who's Green play tonight?
I don't know.
Dover.
Okay, there you go. 2 teams in the 3-3-0.
Yeah.
Dover, New Philly. I know New Philly is.
Who's CBCA got?
Good question.
Oh,
I don't know. I have not looked at the schedules for. I can't memorize everybody's schedule.
You should. That's
I'm fired.
job.
Did you hear that? I'm fired.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, good. Well,
so let's get into these
the
pick'em games. I'm ready. I don't know about you.
So I'm gonna go and pull up since we're gonna start closing down the voting, and it looks like our fans are picking Hudson over Highland. That's how the majority went. So who are you taking?
You know what?
It's at Highland.
It is at Highland, and guys, I got to tell you what. Hudson's looking for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Jagger,
Ian Ludwig.
Jagger Polly gone.
He's gone, and so
but they've got Ian Ludwig. They're very talented tailback.
2,100.
Dude, Highland had such a great year last year. Hudson had a phenomenal year last year. This is probably the best game I liked. I gotta go with Highland here.
Oh, you are?
I do, because it's at Highland. With some question marks at quarterback for Hudson, I think that may be a too tall of a
I think they're gonna slow that down. All right, so I'm going with Highland as well. I really thought out of the gate that I would have something opposite. I do think I know for sure I have one that'll.
Yeah.
All right. So Twinsburg is at Aurora. Did I have that right? No, Aurora.
Yeah, Twinsburg at Aurora.
Twinsburg at Aurora. Our fans got Aurora.
Oh.
I'm going to go with the same. I'm going to follow.
I am going to follow as well. I mean, I think Aurora very talented. We saw that last year. Twinsburg, though, I don't sleep on them. But, yeah, Aurora, that game will be close, I think.
Twinsburg has that Stephen Kamak,
if I pronounced it wrong.
Yeah. So supposedly, per what they're saying, runs a 4.640.
Dang, that's fast.
You think? It's very fast.
That's there. And then here we go. We had to do this one. Field at Magaw.
Had to. Last year that was a very, very close.
What's the fans say? I gotta think they're taking Magaw in a gigantic margin.
Unfortunately, we need some people from. Well, no, there's a couple of votes for Field. There's a couple votes.
I got Magaw in that
but
game.
I'm gonna go with Magaw as well.
I think that's going to be, it may be. I'm hoping a close game. I'm hoping every game's close. I love them when they're down to the wire.
It's exciting to see these kids. They've been working all off season to be able to get in there.
Here's another game I was excited about, but obviously with it being one of our pick'em games, couldn't talk about it. Yeah. Akron Buchtel travels down to North Canton Hoover.
This was close.
Was it?
Fans.
I'm glad. I got Hoover here. I've got Hoover.
Fans have North Canton as well.
I've got Hoover. I mean, North Canton has loaded up. They've added the Northwest tailback, Kyler Maraglia. I mean, quarterback Carson Derlin. They're talented across the board. Hoover's going to be a tough one.
So Buchtel and the Stevie Diamond.
Okay.
QB, the kid is smooth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So this was the one I knew I was going opposite.
Oh, so you're gonna go.
Last
Buchtel.
year we got to the playoffs. You guys all said Buchtel was getting knocked out. If you remember,
yeah, it's because it was a name. It was a team that we they every year there's an underdog and there's a team that comes out of nowhere and
to get
takes
Akron
the
on my
world
side,
by storm.
Remember 3-3-0. I'm picking.
You're taking Buchtel. I mean, I'm
taking Buchtel.
That's awesome.
I have to.
And then.
Our game of the week.
Comes to the game of the week once again. Alliance travels to Uniontown Lake to take on the Blue Streaks. Is there any question who I'm taking here? Do you? I know where you're going. I know you're going the same way I'm going.
Yeah. So is the fans.
Lake.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not putting down Alliance in any way, shape, or form, and I think that we will be discussing Alliance quite a bit.
Absolutely. It's just.
I think Lake has more. I think Lake has just. A slight advantage.
I mean, you see, like right behind us, the fish. You're going to go down to the fishbowl,
dude.
I mean,
that place will be rocking tonight. And
I mean, and do you know what? Just a shout out. I mean, seriously, a shout out to the lake maintenance. I had stopped by there.
Yeah,
they mow that with push mowers.
Yes, they do.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know how one leg isn't longer than the other because of the angle of how that goes.
Do you want some tips on how? I
just was amazed. I for sure thought there was like at least a rider They were push mowing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So shout out to the lake maintenance crew. I'm sorry.
Lake has one of the nice. I love Lake Stadium. I do.
Beautiful.
There isn't very many stadiums I dislike, but Lake will be rocking tonight at 7:00. It's going to be an amazing game. Again, thanks to Coach Tim Goodman of Alliance and Coach Dan DeGeorge of Lake for taking the time to talk to me this week. Next up, you want to tell them where we're going next week? You want to tease it?
Where were we?
We got Hudson.
Oh, that's right.
And North Canton Hoover next week, folks.
That one.
That is our game.
We're going to see how it comes off. We're going to see how they do tonight.
We've also got our other games of the week. Our pick'em games. We'll release those on Sunday.
Sunday mornings.
Sunday morning. You'll see that. So get your votes in. Again, the player highlight. Fill out the Google Doc, folks. Let us know about these kids that are not only killing it on the football field, but killing it in the classroom, killing it in the community. These are the kids we want to know about. We want to talk about them, highlight them. I mean, this was what we do.
Yep. It's just giving it back.
Man, week one, it flew by.
Flew
by, but always a pleasure talking with you, Matt, talking with our beloved fans of the 330 to go high school football show.
Yes.
Season 2, episode 1 in the books, folks. Enjoy your nights. Remember to post the score updates for us. And until we meet again
next week,
we'll see you all next week, 9 a.m. Be there or be square.
Okay, guys.